Hello and welcome back to the channel. It is another month, which means we got new market stats for you. So today we are going to be looking at sales, inventory, prices, as well as have you missed the market? Is it too late to buy? Do you still need to sell? Have you already missed the boat? What's going on? So without further ado, let's jump into it. So first thing that we want to talk about is sales, as everyone wants to know what's going on in the sales. How's activity looking? So this past month in April, we were up about 6.1% versus last year in April. Looking at this chart, you can see there's a difference of about 197 sales, which is good to see because we have been in lower inventory modes, but we are still seeing higher sales than last year, which means the demand is just still through the roof. Although we have seen it begin to slow down as it usually does in April and May. And then once you continue on to the year, it slows down even further. So when we take a look at these two blue and green lines, blue being 2022 and green being 2021, you can see there's been a big pullback this from March of this year to April of this year versus last year. So that is due in part to demand being met as more people are coming in and there are more listings popping up here and there. Slowly, the demand is being satisfied, as well as we've seen a couple rate increases in the beginning of 2022, which is slowly going to eat away at demand. I don't believe it is going to drive the prices into the ground and just completely slow the market down, but it will slow it down little bit by little bit by little bit as people realize, well, then they're losing buying power and they just choose to wait. Now moving on to inventory. Inventory has been one of the biggest factors that is driving all the prices, the sales, and the crazy headlines that you see in the news. So because there is such little inventory in the market and there's such high demand, that's why prices are going. It's simple supply and demand. But let's take a look. We're going to compare it to 2021 versus 2022. So as you can see by this chart, the inventory levels have been quite a bit lower so far in 2022 than 2021. And just for this month alone, we are down 20% year over year, which makes up about 1,200 different listings, which is a lot, especially when we're seeing so much more demand in the market. We're still seeing increased sales versus last year. So this year compared to last year, we are seeing way more sales, but with less inventory. So that just shows you how much demand is out there. We did even more sales with 1,200 less listings. So pretty big deal there. That just shows you the demand. I know a lot of people are asking, well, is demand slowing and yada, yada. And we can see in the sales that it has slowed off a bit from the peak levels that we saw in February and March. However, it is still higher than what we've seen ever before. In fact, this April is a new sales record for the amount of homes sold in all of April since we've ever been recording it. Now looking at average price, this has been a big hot button issue. Well, are prices going crazy? Are they going too high? Are we hitting the top? Is this just unrealistic? Well, let's look here. So when we're comparing April 2022 to 2021, there's actually only a 4.5% difference year over year. For this is all of residential. So this includes townhomes, apartments, semi-detached, and detached homes. So 4.5%, it's great to see. It's not astronomical. When you look at markets like Toronto and Vancouver, they're seeing 10 to 12% growth year over year for all residential. Now, when we take a look at detached homes has actually changed the most. They are up nearly 12% year over year for price increase. This is because detached homes are the most desirable. That's what everybody wants usually. So most people are trying to get into these detached homes, and that is what has driven up the value. However, with these average prices, you can see that it has actually declined slightly since February. Not a big difference. However, it's just kind of sort of leveling out as we saw our peak levels in February. And then as the market kind of settles in a little bit, people know what to pay now. They're not going $100,000, $150,000 over list price. It's becoming a little bit more balanced in that sense. However, it is still a seller's market. So the question that we get a lot from people, whether that be sellers or buyers, is have I missed the market? Is it too late for me? Should I wait to buy? Should I wait to sell? What is it? So when we're talking about sellers, it's still very much a seller's market. It's average days on market right now in Calgary. This is for everything is 22 days on market, which is extremely low. Last April, it was 33. So you can see that's quite a big difference. And that includes everything. Like I said, apartments, townhomes, condos, row, detached, everything. So everything included 22 days on market is very good. And it's selling at an average sale to list price of 100.68%, which is great. That usually means what you ask, you're getting. We've seen in recent years it hover around 98, 99%, sometimes even into 97s in some months. So what the average sale to list price ratio is if I was buying a $1 million home and I bought it for 900,000, that would be a 90% sale to list price ratio. But currently in Calgary, if you have $1 million, you're probably going to get around $1 million, if not just a little bit more. So now if you're a buyer, now this is kind of a thing that I've been dealing with a lot of my buyers is wondering, well, should I just wait a few months? Will it cool off with these interest rates? It's almost a double-edged sword. You can wait. However, interest rates by going up, you're definitely going to be losing some purchasing power. I also don't believe that the interest rates are going to slow demand down enough, especially with people that are looking to actually buy homes that they want to live in. So I've got this great clip from Tom Ferry where he's interviewing Sarah Wheeler, editor-in-chief of Housing Wire, where they have lots of market data on what's going on and what the trends are and everything like that. So I'm going to play this quick video because she can say it better than I can and give you a little bit better idea of why I'm not worried about people buying now, and I think it's actually encouraged that you buy now, or you could end up spending even more in the future.
What would you say to a home buyer, a friend of yours, who's like, oh, Sarah, I don't know, did I miss it? Like I just feel like I'm buying it's high prices and high interest rate.
Yep. No, so I have had this conversation with my kids. So I have millennial kids, and they're like, some of them bought, some of them haven't bought. Yes. They're like, am I missed it? And from my perspective, our lead analyst, Logan Motoshami, is on every week, and he writes for us. And his feeling is that the demographics that are pushing the demand are good all the way through 2024. Yes. And in fact, right now you have all those people who are bidding on houses and losing. So I wonder if it even pushes out farther than that. So, and he's basing that on household formation during those years. Millennials coming into their biggest home buying years, they want to buy a home. So even if it's 5.5, whatever it is. And so I've told them, you should buy now. Just like you should have bought last year. Just like you should have just, you should buy now. You have not missed out, because especially if you're buying a home to live in, that's the best way, Right. If you're buying it for an investment, we could talk about different things there. I'm not the expert, but if to live in, yes, you should buy.
So really great video there by Sarah. I will leave the link down in the description. You can see the whole thing where they talk about general market stats for all of North America and where they see the trends going for the rest of 2022 and into the future. So if you do have any questions, whether you're looking at buying or selling, I can give you a little bit more of an exact rundown on numbers that you're looking for. I don't want to dive into everything and make it all dry and boring. It's not a stats class. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'll leave my information right here below, and we'd be happy to answer any of your questions that you may have about home buying or selling process or just general market information. So feel free, let us know. Leave this video a like, and please don't forget to comment and subscribe. Until next time, I'm Nathaniel Terryberry. We'll see you then.